Ever wondered why some relationships just don't work out even though everything seemed perfect? Perhaps it's not about compatibility or shared interests, but something more subtle, something psychological. It's called confirmation bias, an inherent tendency we all possess. This bias often becomes the uninvited guest in our relationships, creating misunderstandings and leading to their downfall. Stay tuned to understand how confirmation bias works and how it can affect your relationships in ways you might not even recognize. So, what exactly is this confirmation bias? Simply put, it's our inherent tendency to seek out and focus on information that aligns with our existing beliefs or expectations, while conveniently ignoring or dismissing any evidence that contradicts them. Let's illustrate this with a common, relatable scenario. Imagine you've just started dating someone new, someone you find intriguing. You believe they are kind, attentive, the embodiment of chivalry. And in the initial stages, they are all of that and more. They open doors for you, they're considerate of your feelings, they seem genuinely invested in your well-being. All of these actions confirm your initial beliefs, and you think, they're exactly as I imagined, so kind, so attentive. This, my friends, is confirmation bias in action. But let's flip the coin for a moment. Suppose there comes a day when your partner is having a bad day and they act distant or distracted. You might easily dismiss this behavior as temporary, attributing it to their bad day, because it doesn't fit with your preconceived image of them as being always kind and attentive. This is where the trap of confirmation bias lies. When we're smitten or interested in someone, we tend to focus only on the signals that confirm our positive expectations. We conveniently ignore or downplay the signs that contradict them. And this isn't limited to romantic relationships. It pervades various aspects of our lives, influencing our decisions and judgments, often leading us astray. The danger of confirmation bias is that it can blind us to reality. It can make us overlook red flags in relationships, make misguided decisions, or hold on to misconceptions. It can also make us resistant to new information, hindering our growth and learning. So the next time you find yourself zeroing in on information that confirms your beliefs and ignoring the rest, remember to take a step back. Ask yourself if you're falling into the trap of confirmation bias, because understanding this psychological phenomenon is the first step towards navigating it effectively. This is the trap of confirmation bias, focusing solely on signs that affirm our positive expectations and ignoring the ones that contradict them. Let's dive into a real-life example of how confirmation bias can affect our judgments. Imagine a woman who had just started seeing a new potential partner. She expected him to be kind and attentive. During their early dates, he displayed these qualities, opening doors for her, showing affection, always concerned about her well-being. These behaviors confirmed her expectations. She thought, he's just as I imagined, so kind, so attentive. This, my friends, is confirmation bias at work, but let's flip the coin. Suppose he had a bad day at some point and acted distant or distracted. She could easily dismiss this behavior as temporary because it did not fit her preconceived idea of him being kind and attentive. This is a classic confirmation bias trap. When we're smitten or interested in someone, we tend to focus only on signs that confirm our positive expectations, ignoring those contradicting them. Let's take this scenario further. One morning she woke up and found him absent from the bed. Immediately her confirmation bias kicked in. I knew he only wanted me for one thing, then he'd bail, just like every worthless man. What happened next? She blocked him as she was leaving his house, not caring about him anymore. But as she was leaving, he was returning with breakfast in his hands. See how her preconceived ideas led to a situation that wasn't real? That's confirmation bias in action. So, how can we avoid falling into this trap? Firstly, being aware of the existence of confirmation bias is key. Recognize that it's a natural human tendency to seek out and remember information that aligns with our preconceived notions. This acknowledgement is the first step to breaking free from its hold. Secondly, we must promote critical thinking. This involves questioning our assumptions and beliefs, not taking them at face value. Ask yourself, why do I believe this? What evidence supports it? Are there alternative explanations? Thirdly, Cultivate an openness to contradictory evidence. It's not enough to just acknowledge opposing viewpoints. We must actively seek them out and consider them seriously. This can help us to form a more balanced and accurate perspective. Lastly, make decisions based on unbiased evaluations. Don't let your preconceived notions dictate your choices. Instead, weigh all the evidence fairly before making a decision. Remember, confirmation bias can cloud your judgment. So stay aware, stay open, and make informed decisions.